Sweet the whispers in your ear whenever ember wanders near.
Rev put out a video. Looks like a follow-up video to the Leaflet story. He did. He put out a follow-up video about Leaflet. Uh-huh. Oh, yes. So, of course, I'm interested. Because we saw what happened last time. Rev reported on someone coming after Leaf. Yeah, let's see. Let's see who's stupid enough to come after Leaflet this time. Because the last time they did that, I went on something of a warpath for it. And I actually challenged people that were criticizing Leaflet for what she's doing. Most of them never responded. I think we may see some of those in the video, see some of those particular tweets in the video. I went after them. I challenged them. They didn't talk. They didn't answer. Yes, I've talked with Leaflet. Yeah, and as a precursor to this, Leaf. When all this first happened, when all of this first started dropping, I talked to Leaf. She's okay. She had a moment. She was getting hit at from multiple angles. She had a bit of a tough time when this first dropped off. She's okay. She is. I talked to her. I let her know that, of course, I'm here for any time she needs me. She told me that she's okay. I believe her. She's doing okay. She's been pushing ahead with her software, and so she is doing okay. So let's see what the latest on this is.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So in this video, I'm going to be responding to the blue-haired VTuber Leaflet. She had the absolute audacity to make a response video to my very good criticisms of her. Now, of course, in my video, I was listening to the great, insightful commentary of so many terminally online Twitter freaks, and she couldn't handle it. You can see her response video, basically waving the white flag of defeat. It is titled, "It's Over for Me." And that couldn't be more accurate. She is completely cooked. And it pains me to say that because I have enjoyed Leaflet's content for many years.
I didn't... I love Red just taking the piss like this. I love it. And he's... I love the fact that I love that he can keep a straight quote-unquote face when he says all this. He can straight man this so fucking good. I love it.
A lot of you guys enjoy her content as well. We have a big audience overlap, but you know what? I stand on my principles, and when terminally online Twitter freaks raise great criticisms against her, I have to sit down and listen. And they really exposed her, especially on the topic of AI. This has been a trending topic on Twitter for literally weeks at this point. And Leaflet is someone who not only provides commentary, but also produces AI-related content. And yeah, she's been exposed, caught in 4K, and that's why she's been trending on Twitter for quite some time now. And when I made this response video, everyone understood that she is finished. Now, of course, here's one of the comments from my video. I want to make it very clear, I'm being facetious in my commentary so far. This is a joke, okay? People are very mad at Leaflet for providing free-to-use AI tools to help VTubers get started, to give them free assets to work with. And since my video, people have continued to rage at Leaflet and the subject generally. And I think this series of interactions really sums up this entire discourse. You have someone from a suspended account who is telling Leaflet to off herself for using...
That's probably what it was. That's probably what it was. One of the big ones. I did not see these posts. I heard mention of them. This is probably like the death threats that you guys were mentioning, where basically people were telling her she should just end her own life. I think that's probably what affected her the most. Yeah, they absolutely got dealt with. It like she like Leaf took a significant hit. She took a serious hit. But you know when I talked to her about it, and to ask her, I'm like, are you okay? You can, if you need me, I'm here. I'll talk. If you want to talk to me, I'm here for you. I've always got your back. I'm here, and I'll always be here. She said, she had a rough time of it. But she said she got, a good night's rest, and she's back in her words, she's back to 100% HP. I told her, fantastic. If she ever needs anything, I'm here. She can all she has to do is basically, whose car we taking? Let me put it that way. I basically let her know in a nutshell whose car we taking if she ever needs it. And but she's doing good. So for those of you that are worried about her, I've talked with her. She had a tough time of it, but she is doing okay now. She is.
AI, while also bringing up Neurosama, where of course they say she is different and creative, and then accounts who have me blocked are then saying that Leaflet is jealous, and they don't really understand the difference between Neurosama and other users of AI. Now, this all kind of just boils down to people being mad about any sort of use.
Did he get this from Arbel? I could have sworn that Arbel first did this. I remember seeing on Twitter Arbel's avatar do this meme. And did she like grab Arbel's prompt and do one for herself, or did Rev? I wonder.
Use of AI and really using Leaflet as a lightning rod for this related controversy. And here's some of the comments from my previous video where there's very important points being raised. Number one, being too employed for this situation. Understandable.
There you go.
But a lot of people also very excited to see their Oshi and one of their favorite VTubers, Leaflet, being talked about and trending on social media.
Yeah.
But I like this comment down here saying, I myself am not too much of a fan of using AI for this, but I do admire that Leaflet's making this as an alternative, especially since there's so many artists that refuse to work with folks
that
what
I said in my post.
Views. I'd say more, but I'm not too good with wording stuff. But you know what? They make a very good point, and that's kind of the main takeaway of my.
I said the exact same thing in my Twitter post. Is one of the obviously I text walled the crap out of my post, but that's exactly what I said, is that there are so many artists where if you are accused of wrong think, either ideologically or politically, you get blacklisted from artists and you have no alternatives. And Leaf is now giving an alternative. And now artists are pissed off that Leaf is giving an opportunity for people who have already been blacklisted by artists. The artists won't work with them anyway, and now they're pissed off that Leaf is actually giving them an opportunity to do something. Why? Because they know their time is numbered. They know that maybe they're not great artists, or maybe they're realizing that standing on a false principle, or basically DEI, SJRing the hell out of their lives, and basically tying their finances to political or political ideology, or just DEI ideology, is going to bite them in the ass. And they're pissed off because someone came out with an alternative where now artists can blackball as many people as they want. They can just turn to Leaf software or other software that is similarly being developed, not only by Leaf, and that they no longer hold a monopoly on this scene. Now, they actually have to be artists. Now, they actually have to prove that they are worth the money that people are paying them for their art. And blackballing someone based simply on ideology is going to put them in the poorhouse or basically force them to go get a job application. They're starting to realize that this is now the case and they hate it because now they can't lord over the quote unquote plebs. Believe in my ideology or I will not avail my wondrous services to you. And people can now go, cool, I'm just going to go to AI. It works better anyway. And boy, do they hate it.
Previous video and what Leaflet was responding to in her video. There's a lot of artists out there that won't work with you for your political beliefs.
Capitalism. Sia probably provide a solution to solve it. Profit.
Exactly. And riggers can no longer gatekeep. It's okay. I should point out, although we've seen one or two riggers bitch and moan about it, riggers actually aren't going to be overly affected by this. The ones that are going to be overly affected by Leaf software here is primarily artists, not strictly speaking riggers, because as I pointed out before, Leaf's software that she is developing, and she's also developing with Malcolm. They're continuing to improve it. I think Malcolm is going to be releasing a version of it that allows for Grok support tomorrow, perhaps. I'm not sure, but Leaf software is an alternative, not a replacement, and that's a very key distinction that everybody is missing on this. That is a very, very key point that that everybody that's reeing and screaming and crying is very conveniently overlooking. She is creating an alternative of basically a live PNG, not a live 2D. There are stark differences between the two of them that nobody's taken into account, that I have pointed out. The live PNG is much more lightweight, and it's probably a bit simpler to, it's a bit simpler to facilitate. Leaf has made it so anybody can use it, and anybody can create their model, and everybody can put it together and start streaming. Whereas with live 2D models, it's more complicated. Not only do you need the art done up for it, but you need the rigging, which is a bit specialized and takes a long time to do. The average VTuber model takes months and months and months to basically do up the art and then do up the rigging. She didn't say it's theoretically possible, but until we get to actually possible, we're still stuck in theoretical, and there is still a difference. So Leaf is making a much cheaper, like the software is free and it's more cost effective to put together like a live PNG model to VTube with. Which is basically just literally one step up from PNG tubing. So she basically taking the concept of PNG tubing and taking it to the next step of live PNG tubing, which is great. It's great. But the market for actual live 2D VTubers has not gone away because live 2D VTuber models there's a great deal that live 2D models can do that the live PNG models cannot do. They're not as free-flowing. For all of Leaf's brilliance in the programs she created, there's still you can have sequences where it flows very freely and looks fantastic, but it is not perfect. There's still some jumpiness, especially with the talking. The mouth doesn't necessarily match what the person is saying. And if you transition to emotes, there can sometimes be a little bit of a jump. It's a great software, but it's not perfect. And whereas with a live 2D model, obviously you're watching it right now. It's much more smooth. I can do motions that are much smoother. My eyes respond far more than the live PNG model will. The mouth responds much more than live PNG model will. My model's actually moving as I move. So that is something that as of yet, the live PNG system cannot do. But it is an alternative. It is an inexpensive alternative that Leaf has offered people for free to simply get into this space. And so people are just conflating it primarily because of the AI. That is what it really boils down to, is this all stems from the AI, where people are pissing and moaning and bitching about the use of AI, and that really is the core of their argument. The entire core of their argument is, oh, you using AI to create the PNG models, and AI is taking jobs away from artists, and and now live 2D artists are going to be put out of work, and blah blah blah, which is all bullshit. It's all incredibly, it's all just point blank bullshit. There will always still be a very, very strong market for live 2D models. Live 2D, like legit live 2D artists and riggers, they're not going to go out of business. There is still plenty of work available for them, and there will continue to be plenty of work available too. Now, if Leaf is able to improve upon our software to actually make it a very good alternative to Live 2D, like the program is advanced to the point where it can become a Live 2D replacement, we can have a different conversation then. But it's nowhere even close to being that right now. And the fact is, with the argument about AI is replacing artists or AI is stealing from artists is a fallacy all on its own. I've talked about this before, so I'll TLDR it. The human species, from the moment from the beginning of time, humans have borrowed art from one another. From the time that cave paintings were done until modern day, artists have quote unquote stolen other artists' creations for themselves, to the degree of artists like, you have an artist that is inspired by artists that have come before them, and they might copy their style, they might use their genre, they might copy their details, they might copy their poses. That has happened since the dawn of humanity. It's how artists learn in art. It's how they develop their own style. This is a completely normal thing that has always existed. The AI art is simply the next step in this very process. Yes, the AI does the exact same thing. It just does it faster, and it can source from literally every art in, every publicly available piece of art in the world. That's it. That's the only difference between the AI art and a traditional artist, is AI can sample from existing art 1,000,000 times faster and produce something 1,000,000 times faster than a traditional artist can. But it's just the next stage in the evolution of art itself. And by the way, traditional art will not go away with AI art. Painters are still going to paint. Sculptors are still going to sculpt. Paper artists, like manga, anime, comic books, that's still going to happen. Those kind of people are still going to exist. There are some things that regular artists can do that the AI will not be able to accomplish. And they will able to get finer details, or they will be able to make adjustments far more efficiently than AI will. But the fact is that they're coming up with this fallacy argument that AI is stealing art when humans have been stealing art from one another since the dawn of time. So their complete argument falls flat in that respect. And it's become boring. It's legitimately become boring, because literally every significant advancement in humanity, there have been people crying and screaming that, oh, this is stealing, this is going to destroy X, Y, or Z, with literally every single advancement. For God's sake, when VTubers came on the scene, people were saying this is going to destroy streaming. You're going to take jobs away from you're going to be taking audiences away from regular streamers when VTubers came around. People are always going to bitch about anything new and say, this is stealing from X, this is taking away from Y, this is going to destroy Z. It is the perfectly normal stage of evolution with humanity. The only difference is, because of the internet, now, unfortunately, we have to hear from literally fucking everybody on the planet, because everybody on the planet with a device and an internet connection can bitch and moan and whine online, and find similar people that feel that also are that abjectly stupid, and they can all get together and boost their voices, and now all of us have to hear about it. And that's it. that's why this is such a big deal, is because the internet allows it, the internet is a megaphone that is giving these retards voices.
Or if you engage in wrongthink, or they overcharge you in general. And Leaflet is providing a free-to-use tool that allows
Yep.
people who are trying to get into the VTubing scene something to get them going without any sort of a price tag. And it's making
Yep.
not just virtue signalers, but so many artists extremely mad. It all began with this post where she is providing a program that will create a bridge between PNG tubing, just using a still image.
And now you can see what I was talking about down here, where her PNG, where her live PNG model kind of like stutters, where, you know, because it is face tracking her, so you can see it kind of stutters, where it keeps trying to shift back and forth between animations. So that's what I was saying, like, it's not perfect. There needs to be further development on, and I have no doubt that she's going to be able to smooth it out, but it's still not a replacement for VTubing. But the oh so virtuous ones don't care about that, and they're just like AI bad, AI bad.
And live 2D. And people.
And yeah, that's, well, her program does not make the art. It uses your own AI API on your own AI account. She has talked about it. There has been talk. I have no idea what she's going to go for, what she's going to be doing with this. There has been mention that of trying to get over that hurdle so everybody has access to something. I have no idea if she's going to be able to go forward with it, if she's had any movement on it or what. But that thing for people that do not have their own AI account with an API key to use with this software, I think she's trying to come up with a solution about it. Like, I know that her software, yes, and the AI is, well, the AI is optional, but the thing is that you still need to gen up the PNG, and you still need to gen up the move, like the GIF that can be converted to the web web PNG. Or the, God, I forget what the file type is. But you still need a source to plug into her software to do it. But she is like trying to work out a way for like the average person that can use her software and gen up models at no cost, or at least very minimal costs. Yeah, and Malcolm is handling the part to sell API token access. That's something that they are working on for people that don't have a subscription to like an AI gen service. I know Malcolm's software is going to integrate Grok because Leaf's-based software doesn't have Grok integration. It only has ChatGPT integration. It only has ChatGPT and Google Omni integration. It doesn't have Grok. I know Malcolm's they're doing an update to allow for Grok integration. So they're continually making improvements, and they are looking to try and facilitate something where people who do not have like an AI API access to basically give the average person at least a bit of access so they can create their models and everything. That, like, I believe that they are looking into it and working on a possible solution if they can. I don't know the details of it, but you know, they're looking to do more with this. They're continually looking to improve upon this and do more for people that want to use it.
VTubing, just using a still image, and live 2D. And people went berserk. A lot of VTubers, a lot of artists, not very happy, saying a lot of very disparaging stuff. But I think this one right here is really funny, where basically an artist admits that they're going to reduce their prices as a result.
And by the way, I responded to at least one of these people. I think it was this person. As a person started with zero budget, I think you're pathetic. I'm pretty sure I responded to this person and said, how? I didn't attack them. I just asked them, how? How is Leaflet pathetic for this? She is offering a free product out of the goodness of her heart that she built from the ground up. She's offering it for free to anybody that wants it, and is allowing more people to get into the space if they want to get into the space. So how exactly is she pathetic? No answer. This person never responded. to my question, where I simply just asked, how is she pathetic? Explain it to me. No answer. And I'm pretty sure I responded to this one too, this kitten one. I may have responded to that one. I can't remember.
Of what Leaflet is doing. More on that later. But here's one of my favorite responses that I covered in the previous video, where this VTuber says, "Soulless piece of trash is what I think this is. Even if your excuse to use generative AI is I can't draw, there is so many custom models you can get for dirt cheap." And in her response video, Leaflet would say this, a little haiku provided by her.
Winter
Yes.
for artists. I can't draw, but I can dream still. Put fries in bag. Put fries in the bag. Thank you.
Now,
love Leaf.
AI could never reproduce the content that Leaflet is producing right there. But anyways, we saw a lot of virtue signaling, including...
There we go. Here we go. I will let Rev read this first.
follow policing, where other VTubers are saying, if you support this sort of stuff, I'm going to unfollow you, or you should unfollow me. And follow policing people is the biggest Weenie Hut Jr. hall monitor behavior you'll ever see. It's really pathetic. But this user in particular, after virtue signaling about AI, would add a response since my video saying, AI bros in my comments sucking each other's D's, LOL, just because I said I don't like it, and that it's garbage, takes zero skill.
Which is
LOL.
a lie. Which is a lie. Saying that it takes zero skill to gen up something good in AI is a lie. There is a degree of skill to doing your gens correctly. You can plain English it, absolutely. You can plain English it to get like some basic gens. Sure. If you're on Twitter, you've seen some of our genius AI individuals, a couple of them in my chat right now, that come up with some absolutely gorgeous AI images. And the prompt to facilitate these generations, we're talking paragraphs of prompt. That takes skill. And I am deeply impressed with the level of skill that some people, yes, Blue, like you, that like the skill that you have to come up with these incredibly detailed prompts to get an image looking as amazing as it is. I don't have that skill. When I do a prompt for an image, I do not have anywhere near that level of skill. And so I very much appreciate the people that are very skilled at AI art generation, both still images and videos. Yes, Sky Bros, I'm talking about you. There is it's basically a new kind of artistic skill. Throughout generations, as art has progressed, new skills have come into play. You start with cave paintings, then you move to parchment paper. Okay, that takes a new skill of like basically brush strokes. And then you go into sculpting. Okay, now we have a whole new skill set of being able to carve something out of wood or chisel something out of stone or marble. That's an entirely new skill set. Then you get into canvases. Now that takes an entirely new skill set to start creating works of art on canvases. And then you get into photography, and that takes an entirely new skill set to get your pictures right. So they're not just looking bland, but they're looking artistic. This is simply just the next evolution and a new skill set for artists. Yeah, well, I skipped over a whole bunch of it. But the AI art is basically a new form of art with a completely new skill set to facilitate the art, just like we have seen countless times throughout the history of the human species. This is just the latest iteration of it.
Well, I'm glad that the progressive woke people on social media are now resorting to calling their critics homos as an insult. We've gone full circle. You know, maybe we're waking up on the internet and this stuff is now becoming a little bit more digestible. But yeah, they're not sending their best. But anyways, here is some more responses that really highlight the work that Leaflet is
Yep.
doing. So upon reflection, this user says, in light of this, I decided my customizable will be $30 US. I was already going to price it low for the market, but I want to show new VTubers that you can make it in this community without even $100 US. This is pitiful, not going to lie. And of course,
But yeah, they're gonna go. But my customizable what? This person is going to sell a customizable live 2D model for $30. How good's that model? How good is a customizable live 2D model for $30? Okay, I'm gonna hazard a guess. Might not be that great of a model. Even like some of the lowest budget VTuber models that are decent are at least a couple $100. Like pre-done, you don't get to design it. Yeah, a low-end model, not necessarily that sucks, but a low-end model that you have no input on how it looks. It's just, I have created this model, I have rigged this model, you're getting the full package here, no changes to it, this is what you get, is still a couple $100. When you want to do a customized model from the ground up, you're in on the art direction, you're designing it from the ground up, you're in there with the riggers, you're deciding on toggles, you're deciding on the looks of the toggles. Now you're into thousands of dollars. Trust me, I know. Okay? I'm not going to give you an exact amount, but chat, my model was not cheap. I paid like for hang on. For this model, with all of the toggles, all of the features, everything, I have paid several $1,000s for this model. It was not cheap. Okay, like doing a full rigged up good quality model is not cheap. Well, I'm not going to give the exact amount, but USD CAD, it was several $1,000s for me to get this model. Okay, and that is true for the majority of models similar to mine or even more detailed than mine. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. These like for good models, it is not a cheap endeavor. And like even like doing additional updates and stuff like that, it's very expensive, but it's worth it. Bearing in mind, I'm not complaining about this. It is worth it. Every dime I paid for my model was worth it. I love my model. It's why I've been using it for a year. It is become my brand, and my artists and my riggers did an absolutely amazing job. And I'm gonna and there's a very good chance I'm going to go back to them when I want to go with the V3 version, because clearly they do fantastic work, and and I appreciate everything that they did. The model that I started off with was also done by the same artist. That was a free model. The model I started off with was free because it was a model that my artists and riggers put out as sort of like a proof of concept or as like an example of their work. It was a basic, very well rigged model that they put out for free for any VTuber to use to basically showcase their skills, their talents, their abilities. It's why I went to them when I had this model made up. Yeah, it was a fantastic sales tactic because I absolutely went to them when I wanted to get my own personal model. I loved the model, that the free model they made so much. I said, yes, of course I'm going to go to them for my customized model. Absolutely. So saying I was going to drop my price down to $30 for a customized VTuber model, I question the quality behind that VTuber model. I really do. Because you can't even get a decent quality, non-customized, just it's pre-made, here you go, for less than a couple $100s. So I have huge X to doubt on this one.
This is pitiful, not going to lie. And of course, Leaflet would respond saying,
Yeah.
nice, it's working. Capitalism ho. Honestly, if they make a really cool model for new VTubers to use for a low price, and it's great, then people can have more choice, and I'm satisfied. Winning. It's very funny to see this happen in real time, where she comes out with this free-to-use asset that'll help wannabe VTubers, people who are aspiring to be VTubers, get started for free.
By the way, something that I haven't brought up that needs to be addressed. Yes, you have to. Yes, you might need to put some money into the artwork, into the to go into her software. But again, like I said, I think she's working on that to help people out for that don't have access to an AI subscription already. As a reminder, VTube Studio, the software I'm using right now, is not free. You have to pay for VTube Studio. You can get the basic one for free, but you can't really stream with it because the connection, because number one, you're going to have like the little watermark girl going back and forth the entire time, and you can't have a stable connection between your phone and the software. You get like a maximum like a 5-minute timeline of connection between your software, between your phone and the software for the free version. You actually have to pay for the full version of VTube Studio in order for it to work properly. So basically, what Leaflet is doing is she is not a subscription, one-time payment. It's a one-time payment. What Leaflet is doing with her software, effectively speaking, is she is putting out a different type of VTube Studio for free, when normally you would have to pay for VTube Studio, and giving you the means of creating your own model in a very simple and easy way. So not only are you getting the VTubing software for free, you're getting a very cost-effective way to create your own model in this alternative VTubing software. That's what this boils down to. She was using VTube. I think she was using VTube Studio. She was using VTube Studio on her phone as the camera. That's what she was talking about. Like with her software can interact with VTube Studio. What's the other one? iCap Motion, like iCap Face Motion, or your webcam, or a standard web camera will work just fine for it too. So I think when she was talking about using VTube Studio for it, she was only talking about the VTube Studio camera on her phone as a camera. But it's not the only thing that you can use for her software.
Free, and some artists are saying, you know what? In light of this, even though I hate it, I'm going to severely reduce my prices to make this more accessible to people who need it. This is a win. She's already won in many regards, ladies and gentlemen. Mission accomplished right here. One person has already slashed their prices to compete with what Leaflet is doing. Excellent work. But this is really just reflective of what Leaflet's been doing. Sitting on Twitter, making her post, promoting her program, and letting people see about it. And also responding to some of these wackadoos. Where you can see this response, where Leaflet is quoting a now suspended account saying, in quotes, AI should be used for what we want and only what we want. We are the arbiters of what it should be used for, whatever it is that benefits me and the people I like only. I don't care about anyone else's jobs. If you don't agree, you should game end.
There it is. There it is. I want it to work for me and everyone else that does. And if you don't like what I have to say, you should die. That's the mindset. That's the mindset that we're talking about. That's the SJR mindset. Is agree with me or you should be ended.
Yeah, so you can only imagine the original response, but luckily people provided the context before that account went down, where they said, okay, but I am doing that. No, dude, I need you to realize that you're so effing pathetic that you're choosing a robot over the human race. Oh, these clankers.
Oh
There's
my God.
never a better reason to off yourself, LMAO. And in
Dear
response
God.
to people criticizing that point, they say, Kay, you're still pathetic for supporting AI.
Uh-huh.
Very nice stuff. So basically, these people
Yep.
who are ranting and raving about, we need to support humans, not robots, they turn around and
Yeah.
tell humans to off themselves because they're using AI. They're treating human beings like they're garbage and not understanding why people are turning to cheaper alternative sources that won't tell you to off yourself
Uh-huh.
for your preferences when it comes to creating content. But of
Yep.
course, you can see people
Oh, this
defending.
fucking guy. Oh, this fucking guy again. Ugh. I've sparred with this guy before, multiple times. I've kicked the living fuck out of this guy multiple times. This guy is a moron. He is a troglodyte. There's a reason why he has the Derp Asmongold PFP. He is a fucking moron. Yeah, he is absolutely an attention whore. That's all he is. He responds on these posts literally because he is a basement-dwelling creature, probably his mom's basement-dwelling creature, that has no life, knows he doesn't have a life, hates the fact that he has no life, so he wants to take it on everybody else to try and make himself feel better by attacking others when actually it's doing nothing for him. It's just creating the sickness inside him that continues to grow more and more every single day. Yeah, we've dealt with him before. And every time we do, it always ends the same way. He devolves into meme posting. He cannot we've fought with him where like I personally have fought with him, basically challenged him to stand by his principles, to give me examples, to basically explain why we should listen to him. And he always devolves into just vomiting up memes. That's what he does. He doesn't actually engage a conversation when you challenge him. He just devolves into meme posting, at which point and I'm very proud of you, my strays, do the same thing, just simply go, I win. And that's it. That's it. Maybe that's my tagline. I win. You know what? I've said keep typing maybe it should be my tagline, but honestly, thinking about it now, I win is my tagline. Powder's got yeah, and I've got I win. Because the minute you do that, him and everyone like him crashes the fuck out. That's what he does. The minute you tell him, he devolves into nonsense, you just go, I win. And then he crashes up.
The user who told people to off themselves over the situation. This user saying, people are saying you are not an artist or a visionary / art creative for throwing prompts into a program and them generating it for you.
Yes, you are. That's what people like this can't accept. Throwing prompts into a program and having it generated for you is the new art. It is the new art technique. Because guess what? All of the quote-unquote artists that use Photoshop's had AI in it for a couple of years now. All of the Photoshop pros that say, I'm a real artist because I use AI, or I'm a real artist because I use Photoshop, that's had AI into it for a couple of years now. AI is into pretty much every single art program out there right now, with possibly the exception of GIMP. I think GIMP does not yet have any AI integration into it, which makes sense because GIMP is open source and it's free. Photoshop is a paid subscription program. But pretty much every single art program out there has AI integration. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve has AI tools built into it now. Literally everything, unless it's a free open source piece of software, every piece of art technology out there for artists has AI integration into it. Every single one. So this is just basically cutting out the middleman of actually drawing anything, and you basically just have the system do the drawing based upon your prompts, which again is a new 2026 skill for artists.
They are right. You can have your little AI slop maker, but stop deluding yourselves into believing you care about artists and the discipline. Well, I don't think Leaflet really said any of those things. But then again, you look at the accounts who are saying this stuff, trying to defend thy honor of the person telling someone to off them.
They also forget Leaf spends $50K a year on artists, including musicians. Yeah, I know. She talked about that. They don't care. Because they are a zero-sum game. It doesn't matter that Leaf spends tens of thousands of dollars a year on visual and musical artists for her stuff. They don't care. The fact that she uses AI at all, in their minds, wipes all of that away. Because they operate on a zero-sum game. It's all or nothing. That's why there's no use trying to talk to them to make them understand or try to basically appease them, because they never will be happy. These are people where do it my way or I will destroy you, and they will not deviate from that line of thinking. So don't even bother try. This is why I tell you guys that if you ever get into it with someone and they start throwing out the is, the phobe, the blah, 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 all this shit, this is why I tell you guys to simply just say, I win, and walk away, metaphorically speaking, online, of course, because you will not change their minds. They are so entrenched into the SJR mind virus that you're not going to pull them out by using logic. They don't care about logic. Logic does not exist in their world. It is a twisted version of it. So when they start going at you, and they start going, if they may start with a normal conversation, then when they go off the fucking rails like this, you literally just end the conversation and simply just go, I win. And end it. And then just let them crash out.
Themselves over AI usage, and well, it's a dedicated Asmongold hater who literally branded their accounts with his image. Many such cases, as we'll see. But also, you look at their account and they basically say Charlie Kirk was not a victim. Again.
And this and obvious rage bait. Obvious, like this is why I say that this account is a mom's basement dwelling troglodyte who is a loser, who knows he's a loser, who hates he's a loser, and will inflict this upon anybody can to try and pretend like he's going to feel better about himself when he doesn't actually feel better about himself by doing this. Because when you basically vomit negativity the way this guy does, that you don't feel better about yourself. You feel it. There's a sickness that persists. It boils and roils and twists inside your guts, and it does not go away. It gives you that moment. It gives you like a momentary dopamine hit, and then reality sets in, and you realize I actually don't feel any better outside of that 5-second dopamine hit that I got. That's what this person is. That's the whole purpose behind this. They want to rage bait so they can see people screaming at them online. People that are screaming like Charlie Kirk was not the same thing as Alex Peretti, and try and like say, oh, Alex Peretti is not even the same thing. He was at a protest. He brought a gun and blah, 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 blah. And Charlie Kirk was assassinated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's looking for that engagement for a brief pinprick in time, feel better about himself, like, I got them to crash out. But it's not going to change anything with what's inside of him. He's still going to feel horrible about himself. That sickness is still going to remain. It's not going to go away. And the more he tries to foster it, the worse he's going to feel. And Pikachu shock face about why he doesn't feel better about himself day after day after day. He's a loser. Actually, let me use another quote. He was born a street rat. He'll die a street rat, and only his fleas will mourn him.
Many such cases, but Leaflet, among others, raise a very good point. How do these very staunch haters of AI feel about Neurosama?
Neuro's
different.
different.
Of course, you have Beetle, who is using AI to have this VTuber, Neurosama, provide content. There was a human being involved, But ultimately, it involves AI,
Yes.
where Neurosama is learning and growing and developing based on AI breakdowns of
Yes.
chatter interactions, content, all sorts of things. And when you raise Neurosama in this context, a lot of these virtue signalers just completely go haywire. They don't know what to do. In fact, you can see this person saying, I refuse to quote retweet the person who made the AI VTubing software. This is such a spit in the face to artists slash riggers who put their all into making models for people, all the hours spent drawing slash separating the art, to all the time rigging to make sure the angles are perfect. FAI. It legit makes me so...
Which again, they're ignoring the fact that Leaf software doesn't do all of this. This is the point that I've hit. This is the point that I was making earlier. They're deliberately misconstruing what Leaf software does. Leaf software and live 2D models are completely different things. They both have their benefits, but they are distinctly separate from one another. They are not a replacement for one another. It is an alternative. That's it.
So mad as someone who does both. This is so crappy, because this is just another way AI is trying to take precedent over real artists. And Leaflet would quote them saying, I'm so sorry, Neuro. They hate you. And then this Ruby...
Oh, here we go.
I guess, are they a rigger? They are. They're an artist slash rigger. They would quote themselves without actually interacting with Leaflet, saying, obviously this reached the AI bros. But it's sad watching y'all sit here and support something that is actively hurting artists. Neuro, the VTuber, is also completely different. They don't explain why. So using that as an argument is crazy.
That should be noticed. Allegedly an artist or rigger. Because in this day and age, you don't know. Someone claiming to be an artist and a rigger kind of means nothing these days. It really does.
Well, if it's so crazy, explain why it's so different. You guys are coming in here being rude and think you're actually bugging me. Yes, look at the unbothered person.
And I do feel necessary to point out, not all artists on VGen have a problem with AI. When I was thinking, when I was thinking in the past couple months about like maybe going with a different artist for my V3 model and then having my original team do the rigging, just to basically go with a different style, perhaps go with a different style. I reached out to an artist just as for an informative basis, asking like the time to make up the art, stuff like that. And then I asked the person, I said, listen, I've got a design that I was considering using. It was made by one in my community, and it was made with AI. And while I'm not I'm not asking if you could do a one-to-one like replication of this, would you be okay if I submit it to you as a reference image for for what I'm looking to get? And the artist responded back, yeah, I've got no problem with that. Like, not all, like, I think I need to take this time to say that while we're seeing a lot of, like, artists like, I hate AI, Jesus, words are hard. I hate AI, don't come at me with AI, blah, 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 blah. There are artists out there that, especially if you say, like, hey, I have this AI image that I would like to use as a reference. There are artists out there that are like, yeah, I don't have a problem with you giving me an AI art as a reference for me to base my work on. There are. Because, because a good artist appreciates a client coming to them knowing what they want. Like, yeah, there can be some fun in the creativity of like telling the artist, I'm kind of looking for this. The artist does up a sketch, and there's back and forth, like, I like this, I don't like this, and going back and forth. But at the same time, if you can present your artist with a reference Like, this is what I'm looking for. They can go off of it and it can save time. And then, tweaks and adjustments, of course, can happen. But having a reference image, even if it's AI, you're not asking the artist to do an exact recreation. You're not presenting this saying, I want you to recreate this exactly for the purpose of doing a model. If you say like, this is kind of the reference that I'm looking for how I want to base my model, and the artist can look at it and go, okay, and then they can basically do their own little spins on it, or they can basically, put their own stamp on it when they are doing up the model using the reference. There are still plenty of artists out there that are totally cool with it. Using that as a reference. There are plenty out there. It's just finding that. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I used my model. My model that I'm using right now. When I basically just like in what I would consider the infancy of the AI art, I was just like playing around with it, free models, just playing around with it, making up, doing prompts the best I could to try and come up with something. And I came up with something that I liked. And so when I contacted the artist, can we see what the reference? I have like a batch of them. I don't remember exactly which one that I used. It's reasonably close to my mom. It is reasonably close to what my model looks like. And so I took that like one or two of the reference pieces that were very similar to one another, and I submit together. So like, this is what I'm looking for. This is kind of the style and design type that I'm looking for. And based upon those references, they were able to create this model, and it worked really well. So like, I wanted to basically just take this moment to say, like, we're hearing about so many artists like this going, oh, AI bad, AI bad. There are plenty of artists out there that are totally fine if you want to submit a reference and like make it clear, like, I'm not asking for a recreation. I'm just like giving this to you as a reference of what I'm looking for. There are still plenty of artists out there, even on VGen, that are like, you know what? Cool. If you want to use that for your reference, I'm fine with it, even if it's made by AI, because in the end, they're going to be doing the creating themselves, and they're going to get paid for it.
Locking the replies. Well, there you go. And like I just pointed out, of course they're mad. They're a low follower artist / rigger, and they are clearly, them are clearly threatened by the idea of a free alternative using AI. Because they can virtue signal all they want about this stuff. They can't stop the inevitable and the threats of it.
What is VGen? VGen is an artist website. It's what's the comparison? There was another website I was just thinking about comparison. Basically it's a website for artists. Not even strictly VTubers. It's an artist for not necessarily like Etsy for VTubing, not necessarily maybe like Sked. I don't know. There's another website. I'm trying to think like a website where you can hire someone to do something, and I cannot remember. Fiverr. Thank you. It's like Fiverr for artists. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, VGen is like Fiverr for artists. Because it's not just VTubing. You can get VTuber, artists for VTuber models. You can get riggers. You can get wallpapers. You can get PNGs. You can get icons. So it's just like, is there a primary focus on anime style? Absolutely. But it's not strictly for VTubing. There's also musical artists on VGen. There's like video artists that they can create these video artists will create you like an intro video or something. So it's not strictly for VTubing, but it is, the VGen does primarily kind of cater to the anime style of artwork.
And they're scared, they're mad, and they're trying to make some sort of a wedge between.
Oh God, you're right. The progress bar was over. Yeah. Notice the pronouns. We have a they them. Is anybody shocked? Is anybody shocked we have a they then? There you go. There's your answer.
What they're mad about
Did he?
when
I
it
missed it.
involves Leaflet
I missed it. I missed Rev
versus what
saying
they
it.
support with Neurosama. They can't explain it, but don't worry. Other people are going to, well, do the same. So Leaflet would
Yep.
quote them saying, "I'm so sorry, Neuro. They hate you." And this user says, "The deflection is so pathetic. Your entire grift is so pathetic."
Again, using a word that has now lost all meaning. This is yet another word. The word grifter is yet another in the pantheon of the English language that people like this have destroyed, so it has no meaning beyond I don't like you.
I'm sorry. Her grift? She is providing this program for free. This is the worst grift I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a grift that involves
Yeah.
providing free programs to people. The world's worst grift. And then I look at these people who are doing this stuff and who are so mad about it, and another account branding themselves with someone they hate.
There
Their
it
pinned
is.
tweet is a clip from a video I made where I covered their tweet for 30 seconds in a much longer video from weeks ago. These people are very, very sad. And then I look at their Twitch account that they're promoting now, and they don't even use a VTuber model. Right? Like,
There
you don't
you
even have
go.
skin in this game. I don't know why you're so mad about it. But let's move
You're
on
mad
to
to
the
be
next
mad.
person.
That they're mad because they're mad for clout. That's why. It's honestly as simple as that. They're absolutely clout chasing. They're jumping on the bandwagon for the express purpose of, if I jump on this bandwagon and I say the right thing, then the other people in the cult will see that I'm doing the right thing, and maybe they'll come to my stream. That's it. It's literally no more complicated than that. They're trying to gin up interest in their stream because they're a good un, so maybe we'll go check out their stream. Yeah, they are actually kind of grift. They are the ones that are the actual grifters.
And saying being anti-AI is fine, but why would any up-and-coming VTuber want to use an artist if all they do is rage and
There
attack
you
anyone
go.
who says AI is fine, or
Yep.
that they like this program? If using AI as a VTuber is wrong, then what about Neurosama, the AI VTuber? I've never seen
Exactly.
rage over that.
I can actually explain why they don't rage over Neuro. The simple reason why they don't rage over Neuro is Neuro's visual was not created by AI. Neuro's AI puppets them up and gives voice to it. But Zettel didn't use AI to create the model. That's why. These people work off of visuals alone. They don't understand subtext, they don't understand context. And so because Neuro visually was not created with AI, they think Neuro's great, Neuro's fine, and they ignore the fact that literally everything under the hood is AI. That's why. They are so they're such simple idiots. Yes, I just created that word. I have no idea if it exists or not, but they are such simple idiots that they can't go past what is literally in their face. And so they base everything on what they see, not what they know. That's it. That's why they don't hate Neuro.
And of course, you can look at some of the responses. Like I said, this interaction is golden. No one can explain it without telling someone to off themselves because they have no real counterargument. And then you can see people trying to say that, well, of course, Leaflet is jealous. That was in the now deleted, or I guess suspended account, tweet deleted as a result, where they say, jealous, I love Neuro and wish for their continued success. I'm just pointing out that all of you have inconsistent logic, which you proved just now. Even if you can't see it, everyone outside your little bubble can. Neuro is different and creative. And of course, Leaflet has not stopped. I know her reign of terror has continued, where she is providing even more related content, really capitalizing on this situation, as she should. If all of these wackadoos want to make her trend nonstop, well, the right decision is to continue producing more tools for people to use.
Yeah, her
to
40K
get their
model
foot
is
in
awesome.
the game when it comes to
It
creating
is.
content and being a VTuber. And if people want to be really mad about this and threaten someone's life and say all these abhorrent and hypocritical things, well, that only helps her campaign even more. The people who are mad about AI will always be. Leaflet's not going to change their opinion most likely. But for the people who have an open mind about the concept, or can at least appreciate what she's doing, even if they don't really like AI, she's just working to expose the people who are so mad about this and generating goodwill on her side by simply existing and providing these tools. But anyways, I mean, that is the situation. Again, no actual beef here. I think what she's doing is very interesting, and I think something a lot of people have and will take advantage of, and it's making the virtue signalers and the very angry VTuber artists and riggers who have had a vice grip on the scene for so long very mad because they're having competition. And as we've seen, some people are even responding to this while mad about it and reducing their prices because they understand that what she's doing is a threat to what the status quo has been in the VTubing scene. And I think, ultimately, that's a good thing. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing, and turning on notifications for daily uploads, as well as multiple streams every week, live here on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Leaf is doing great, thanks. I'm so happy for her. She is doing phenomenally. She's even improving on it. But I do have one bone to pick with this entire report. I do. I have one slight problem with Red's report. There's not more, but it's just one thing that's just bugging the hell out of me. And I have to say something about it. Why didn't he bring up my tweet? My tweet blew up with 27,000 views, 1.2 thousand likes, 150 retweets, and 77 responses. Why not me? I freaking blew up on this. I went on the warpath and blew up on it. And no mention! Bobby, not me! I wasn't even the bridesmaid, I wasn't even a flower girl. I was a guest! I was just a guest! He's rage baiting me. Rev, are you rage baiting me? Are you seriously rage baiting me, Rev? If you are, it's working.